Welcome back to another episode of Just Listening Podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa, and today I have a special guest. If you know us, you know that we do not get along. We do not, like, whenever we're in person, it's so hard for us to get along.
Yeah, true.
Right? But I think at the same time, we do really support each other in all of our projects or different, just how life's going on from where we're at. And we met when we were in San Francisco, so when I was still living there, pretty close to me, my pledge sister KG Cast.
What's up, everybody? What's up, just listeners?
What is up? So let the listeners know, like, who are you? Who is KG Cast?
Who is KG Cass? Well, hey, I'm KG. I use all pronouns, but usually use they, them, or she. I am in my senior year at
Okay.
San Francisco State, studying film and Asian American studies. I've done a lot of, I guess, like pro bono work for a lot of different organizations around the Bay Area for like video content. I'm branding myself, or I am, gotta know who you are. I am a media producer and content creator. Haven't really made anything really big, but that's all right. I'm
It
just a
is.
work in progress.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think one of the biggest things that, like, so for me, when I first met KG, it was at, I don't know if I ever told you this, but we were at um no now we weren't there together. We I didn't even know you at this time. And then I forgot if it was spam or some, it was another, like, talent show thing or whatever, and you did a spoken word.
Oh yes, I
Yeah, do you
did
know what
do
I'm talking
spoken
about?
word. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was for like mural celebration at SS State, I think, right?
probably. Yeah, I think
Yeah, it
so.
was the year before we actually like face to face met each other.
Yeah,
Cause
it
like
was.
I've seen you around, like we're friends of each other or
Yeah,
whatever. Before we became like sisters. So it's like, wow, the world is so small and stuff.
it is. It is.
Um, but yeah, I used to do spoken word poetry. Um, I talked a lot about my identity being mixed, especially being like Filipino American and Chamorro. And then I also did a lot of poetry about my heartbreaks in my life.
I've been broke so many times.
I,
Ah.
these are our confessions.
Yes, they are,
Part one.
obviously.
But yeah, one of my like I actually have it pulled up, but one of my like my favorite like spoken word pieces that I did about like heartbreak and like getting my heart broken and stuff is called Recounting Brown Eyes.
I think that's the one I heard. Was that the one you performed?
Not the one at the mural celebration. I think I performed American Dog Eater. And for those who aren't familiar with Filipino American history, a dog eater. So in the St. Louis World's Fair back in the day in the early 1900s, the Americans brought in indigenous Filipino people to the World's Fair and basically had them up like in a zoo. So this whole like piece that I have about like being an American dog eater and like addressing myself as the American dog eater is just me trying to like reclaim that. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to offend anybody at all. Like this is just me reclaiming like my heritage and my identity of being Filipino American.
Yeah,
But yeah.
definitely. Well, you mentioned, like, your love life. You mentioned sips coffee, right? We we're kind of gonna go in time, because
Oh,
obviously
we are gonna go into
we're gonna go in time because obviously right now, you are in a stable, healthy relationship.
yeah, with my
Um,
partner of almost
2
A year
years,
and a
3 years,
half. Yeah,
a
a year
year
and
and
a
a
half.
half.
Yeah, we're almost to a year and a half.
Oh wow, I thought
But we've
sworn
been,
it's been longer.
huh?
I could have sworn it's been longer, like at least
Yeah,
2.
it's I mean we started talking like a few months before we obviously a few months before we started dating. I don't know what I'm saying, but we've been like seeing each other for like almost 2 years, I guess. But we've been friends for like 3-4 years. I feel
Yeah.
like at least 3 years we've been friends
Mm,
because we met in our like major class for Asian American one of our major classes for Asian American studies, and we did a film together, and that was crazy because I never thought like, oh, I never thought I would have like any interest in this person. Honestly, like the first time I met them, I I was like, who the f is this? Like, who's this person?
yeah. No,
But
yeah. So I
yeah,
let's go in the past a little bit. Like
yeah, dude.
how has like your past, because the thing is like, okay, I don't know if I'm probably using this word like correctly, because I personally haven't been in any entanglements, because
Yeah, I
entanglement,
don't think we are using this word
yeah,
properly,
I don't think so, but like,
because one of my housemates, I told them like, oh, we're gonna do a podcast about entanglements and shit, and then she's like, wait, have you really cheated on anybody? And I'm like, oh my god, no, not while I was in a relationship.
yeah, no, so that that definitely is not, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think,
no, I'm a pretty faithful person most of the time.
oh
I
my
mean,
god,
especially now, like this person that I'm dating right now, like we're
PSA.
good. Like just a disclaimer, like we're good.
Yeah.
Like
I guess, okay, so like how has your past within like different, because for me I feel like the dating scene is just so hard to like just go about, because you never really know, like, oh, okay, like am I giving too much of myself to this person or am I giving too little? And I feel like
yeah,
right now I'm still single, and like I've talked to you so many times about this before, like
yeah, dude.
I don't know what it is. I just feel like sometimes I be giving myself too much to people who don't necessarily are ready for it. I think that's one of the biggest things. Or maybe I'm not giving myself enough. But it's just like this weird battle, because like with dating, you're like you're kind of testing the waters. And I
Yeah,
actually
you
met,
are.
yeah, right. And I met someone who was like, I just feel like you're testing the waters with me. And I was like, isn't that what dating is?
Isn't that what dating is? Yeah, I feel like dating culture in general is like so different, or it's changed at least like in the last 10 years, especially like with technology,
Yeah.
like Tinder,
Especially
Hinge,
now.
all
Yeah.
the
So
other
how has
apps.
Tinder?
Especially now with like COVID. Like I don't know how y'all people be dating like during COVID.
We don't.
Please be responsible. I swear
Yes.
to God, like please be responsible. Um, but yeah, I'm not trying to yak on anyone's young, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I think with dating now, I forgot who I was talking to about this, but like dating now in a pandemic, it's kind of like I can't. Okay, well, obviously everyone knows I don't drive, so we go on a date,
Yeah.
you pick me up, and it's just like I'm risking my life to go hang out with you, so you better be the one. But it just never works out that
Oh
way.
no, bro. No, bro.
I mean, how was dating in your past life for you? Like, what are the kind of things that you went through when you were like still single, still like at a really young age? I don't know, college, early years of college. What was KG Cash like?
Crazy, man. But hmm. Well, really, I like started dating people in general, like I think in middle school when I was more open about my sexuality
Yeah.
and being queer and stuff like that. And yeah, I had my like how people have like those middle school girlfriends. Like I had one.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, and then it like the relationship went from like middle school into high school type of
Oh wow,
thing,
it was a long
and
term thing.
yeah, it was like a pretty long-term thing. I dated that person for a little over 2 years.
Oh, damn.
But honestly, like the behavior that they had with me, it was very toxic.
Yeah.
And I've talked a lot about in some of my poetry pieces about how about this person kind of being like the villain.
Mhm.
But as I've grown older, especially like in the last year reflecting on my life and stuff,
Yeah.
um, this person probably didn't think that they were the villain in their story at all, but
Mhm.
I kind of made them into the villain in my story. And I feel like sometimes in relationships we tend to villainize people who are against us, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all think we're the hero in our own story, and
You
that's
still
what I
keep
love
in
about
contact?
storytelling. Huh?
You still keep in contact with them, or like how is your like?
I do not keep in contact with them, but the weird thing is, actually, last year they greeted me happy birthday, and I was very weirded out
Remember
by
that?
the phone call because it was like one of those like star 60, what is it, star 67 calls where
Yeah,
it was
the
like completely
unknown.
like anonymous. I did
Yeah.
not know who this was. But I answered it anyway just in case if it was like either a client or somebody one of my friends calling from like an unknown number because maybe something happened. I don't know. I always answer the phone when you call me usually. Um, but yeah, I answered the phone and it was super weird because I was out in public and like I haven't talked to this person since I moved out of Hawaii, and that was like almost 5 years ago. So that's like half a decade of my life that I have not spoken to this person like face to face like at all.
Hmm.
Um, but I know like within that 5 year gap, they were like low key like lurking on my like social media.
Oh no
You
way!
just know, honestly. I feel like people you just know, you know how to play detective and shit.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I've gotten good at
yeah, like
that.
FBI, CIA, like I've learned a lot from Criminal Minds. But basically, yeah, like this person was like pretty toxic in my life when they were still in my life. And yeah, when they called me on my birthday last year, I basically like had a panic attack. But I kind of, when I was talking to this person, I realized like, the period of time has been so long where it's like, I shouldn't let the fear that this person insinuates on me like continue past this point.
Yeah.
So if they were to greet me happy birthday this year, honestly, I will not answer your phone call. I'm sorry, but
Woo!
um,
Yeah,
you grow out of people, and that's
you
just
do.
life, and
Obviously.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing too. Like people just kind of they don't realize that like the I saw this tweet. It's like it always pops up on my feed, so I don't know if it's trying to tell me something. But like the old version of you, like it has expired. It has expired, and like
Yeah,
I think that's the thing with even like people from middle school for me or like high school. I'm just kind of like, like a very toxic person.
yeah,
Somebody who was very ignorant.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's just like that person, but like now don't try to act like like who I am or like any part of me. And I think that's the thing even with platonic relationships because people don't
Yeah, I
talk
was
about
just gonna
that.
say that
You
this
know?
even extends to like relationships outside of like romantic relationships
Romantic,
in
yeah, of
general.
course.
This could be platonic, familial,
What is familial?
like your family.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
I just think that like I don't know. Just the expired version of you and how like you've learned like over time. So like before you met like CK, what were your like absolute like no-nos? And like, I don't think I could ever date a person that is like for me an absolute no-no would be like I cannot date a person who's not family oriented just because like
yeah.
I'm always with my family. If I'm not always with my family, I talk to them almost all the time, have them on social medias and stuff. So it's kind of hard for me to like want to date someone who has no ties to their family.
Hmm.
Um, like that's an absolute no for me. I mean, what about you? Like, or an absolute yes? Like, is there anything that you want in a that you wanted in a partner and found in CK? And um, yeah.
I think something that I've found in my current partner CK compared to all the other relationships I had before them, um, I feel like a bunch of the relationships I had before CK, they didn't have any connection to their culture or like to their community that they were raised by or anything like that. Um, I mean, a few of them have, but they weren't like at the same level as like the way that CK like kind of views like um, their culture, but also like my culture.
Mm.
So I feel yeah, like even like with my first few relationships, they had a lot of unpacking to do with their identity and like their culture. So I feel like that's a big one for me. But a big yes for me is, if you can't make me laugh, you're not going to make my parents laugh at the dinner table. So you got to go.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like honestly, if a person does not make you laugh, bro, they gotta go. Yeah, they gotta pack it up.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's one of the biggest things for me, like their sense of humor. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but like for me, it's very hard to make me laugh. If you're like genuinely
yes,
not funny, like it is
yeah,
so hard to make me
you have
laugh.
a very
What do you call that? It's like
unique sense of humor. Um,
I would say it's very dark at
it's very
times.
dark. I feel like our humor is very same level or in
Mm.
the same sphere of things. I feel like my humor is a little bit darker than yours.
Oh,
Um,
really? You really think
yeah, I
so?
really think I
Okay.
really think my humor.
Okay, I'll let you think that. But like, yeah, I don't know. I
I believe it. I believe it.
I, I just think like it's really hard to make me laugh. And sometimes even when we're out, like when we're out with different friends, like people that aren't in our like normal circle,
You
like
just be laughing uncomfortably
yeah.
at
I,
jokes that you don't think are funny. At least you're polite about it.
I'm just
Like,
polite about it because before I was just like, I'm not gonna fake laugh to this. But then I
yeah,
just found it even more uncomfortable when you don't laugh at jokes that you don't find funny.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I guess one like also another question around like the dating life, the love scene era, do you think there's a difference between your soulmate and your person?
definitely. I definitely think that.
Do you think
I
those
think okay, okay. Here's my perspective.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, so sorry, I need to. Okay. Uh, um, so in my opinion, I think a soulmate doesn't even have to be a romantic person. I feel like they could just be like your friends, like um, just like people in your life, and they don't have to be like a forever type thing. I feel like soulmates like kind of like come and go. They just kind of like match your energy during that point in your life, and y'all just vibing. Y'all
Yeah.
just vibing. They don't. Yeah, like I said, they don't have to be like a romantic partner to be your soulmate. Like I've had friends throughout my life who I've claimed like are like have been or are my like soulmates, and even if we've like outgrown each other as being soulmates, like I still respect them as a person for what they've done in my life, but also like um, yeah, just them being them. And then I think for the person um, that like you kind of like end up with in life, I think I actually, you know what? I think for that one too, like it doesn't even have to be like a romantic person
Well,
either.
so then what would be the difference if they're both not romantic? Like, because for me, I think the soulmate is like you could just feel it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
literally, it's like you could just feel that they're meant to be a part of your life. Um,
Yeah.
I think like I've had a couple of those too, like what you're talking about, like soulmates, but those never leave. They definitely never leave your life, and kind of they're always there. It's just you might not be as close, but you know that they're meant to be in your life, right?
Yeah.
That's why I think of soulmates, but I'm just trying, it's so hard for me to distinguish. So like what would your person be? Because like you mentioned, like it doesn't have to be platonic. So like what would they be?
I don't know, like, because in my mind, like, that person is like the person you've been waiting for like all your life or whatever the fuck, like, but in my mind, like, fuck, that doesn't even have to be like romantic per se. Like, it could be like your kid, because like,
Think your kid could be your person?
not your person per se, but like the person that like you've been waiting for to like give all this like love and appreciation toward.
Okay.
Just like, like, oh my god, um like I love this person. I just want to like nurture them or whatever. Um, so per se, like it doesn't have to be a romantic person,
Mm,
but I feel like if you were to talk about that like romantically, um, hmm, yeah, I don't know, because at the same time, like, people be like getting like divorced and stuff, and like relationships fizzle
yeah.
out, and like, like life happens.
Mhm.
And like, even with a few of my relationships in the past, including the one that I'm currently in, like, we've had conversations about like, okay, so what happens if like, our relationship doesn't work out?
Mhm.
Or like, what if you're not like my forever person? And it's honestly the last like maybe 3 relationships I've had, they're all just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm glad that I've spent this time with you
Yeah.
and that we got to know one another.
Wow, that's like no, that's like a really mature conversation to have though. I
Yeah,
think
I feel like it's important to have, especially like if you and this person mutually feel like y'all are gonna be like together
forever.
for like a long time. I feel like that's an important conversation to have,
Mhm.
um, for whenever you're ready. But
Yeah, I know because that conversation just takes a lot of maturity because it's like, oh, like you don't, a lot of people have like that feedback, like, what do you mean, like if this doesn't work out, you don't believe in it, like are you not in love with me type of thing anymore. But the crazy thing is, like, I'm also asking because I've never quote unquote been in love because love
mhm.
is just such a, I don't know, it's like
Me and
so.
Alyssa have had many conversations, very deep conversations about love. So this isn't the first time we're talking about this, by the way.
Yeah, like we've definitely talked about it. It's just like it's so ironic because I feel like I know a lot about love, seeing like from different perspectives, seeing different
Yeah.
people fall in love, out of love. But like when I'm like even now, like in the dating, like going back to like online dating and stuff,
Hmm.
it's so hard for me to connect with people because first
Yeah.
dates are so awkward. They're extremely awkward, and I'm just like, I I don't know if I want to hang out with you because like you suck at texting, but I had this it was on my last podcast, like you suck at texting, but like in person you might be actually pretty cool, but you might be great at texting and then suck in person. So that's the
Yeah.
thing is like online dating becomes so hard to distinguish. But then you also been a part of you've also been in my life when I've had um we didn't meet through we didn't meet through online. I think you know who I'm talking about, that one person.
Okay. Yeah.
uh, yeah, that one person from the
Yeah.
mall. So just to give you all a little bit context, so I believe yeah, it was last year. Last year
Oh wow,
around
that was
this time.
fast,
It was
bro.
around this time.
Yeah, it
Right?
was. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was around this time. It was around this time of last year, and I went to the mall. I had a couple meetings, and then I had class, and then I went to the mall, and I got my number asked. And like,
Oh
mind you,
my god.
this is
Wow.
one of the first times I've ever gotten my number asked for. So obviously, you feeling kind of good. You're like,
Oh yeah, like that
you're,
would be a big like confidence booster, to be honest.
it
Like,
is, it is. At that
just
point,
out and about doing life and then somebody asks for your number.
yeah, and I mean, they're not. I wouldn't say they're like hideous, but they're really sweet, and like for me it's really, I kind of look at the personality more than I go for the looks, just because like if you could catch my attention, that matters more if you catch my eye. Obviously I do want to be a little attracted to you, but like anyway, so they asked
It's
for my
good to have
number.
standards.
Yeah, right. We hang we he called me later that night. Yeah, later that night. I believe it was a Monday. We had a meeting, and then I was just like, "Oh, hey, I'm in a meeting. I can call you back later." And then he called me back later. We end up hanging out, and then I think one of the biggest deal breakers that I told y'all was like he did not pay for the bill, but the
Oh yeah, they did
right.
not pay for the bill.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Is just like if you ask me on a date, you're trying to court me, you should pay for the bill, and that's just always
Yeah.
something I've had. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if I ask anybody, it doesn't matter who they are. Like, if I ask you to hang out as like romantically, I would expect for me to grab the bill. But if you ask me, it's and that happened 3 times.
Yeah.
Literally, I was being treated like this 3 times. One time was spots that I hella love too, like Old Town was really good. Well, first one was like Applebee's. It was like whatever, but it was by the
Yeah.
pier. You could see the pier, and then last was like what is that Korean restaurant that we went to? We went
Wonge
to
Bok. It's
yeah,
on Ocean
Ocean.
Ave in
Yeah,
SF. But yeah.
what?
I think that story is like, oh my god.
Yeah. That was like one of the just
I
the
see.
weirdest dating stories that I had
Hmm.
because another deal breaker was like how old he was and the fact that he
Yeah, the fact
lied.
that my friends worked at or one of my friends worked at the same store that he worked at in the mall,
Yeah.
and I asked them for you how old this person was. And when I found out, I was like, oh my god, 911, we need to call a fucking emergency meeting for Elizabeth Tolentino right now, right the fuck now.
Yeah, like
But yeah, this person was like
not it.
not it at
Definitely.
all, like hella weird.
I don't know. A part of
I
me
don't know. From
feels
the stories you've told me about this person, I've never seen this person like in person, like at all.
like
But the stories you've told me, I'm just like, that's hella weird. Like that's so sus. Like this person is very suspect.
very
Very
suspect.
suspect. We'll just call them suspect now at this point.
um,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I think that was one of the weirdest interactions that I had. Like and that's what it comes down to. Like we think we're so blindly, like like you're super cool. Like I enjoyed hanging out with you, and then once you start seeing the red flags pop up, like those are like, ooh, like cut. Like I need to cut you out of my life. Like it's a no for me. It's a no.
no, it's a no. Gotta preserve your energy.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was your craziest dating story? Or like, do you even have one? Like a crazy
Oh, I do, bitch. I fucking do. Sorry. But um I'm like laughing because I'm like, it's so fucking bad. But it's not really like a date, but I think we were dating. We were only dating for like maybe like 2 or 3 months. It wasn't even that long, but
Did they say the
honestly,
L
like
word? Did they say the L word?
none of us said the L word.
Okay,
Like
okay.
this was one of my first relationships while I was in college,
Hmm.
and it was it was the second person I was seeing like in SF. I was a freshman, and I met this person on Tinder. They went
Oh,
to do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Once I say the second part, I think you'll know. But this person is from East Bay, and they were mixed too, and yeah, we like hella bonded on like our identities of being mixed. And at this point in my life, I was kind of just like full send, fuck it, like I just want to live my best like queer life as much as possible.
Yeah.
Sorry mom and dad. I don't think they'll ever listen to this, but sorry mom and dad. But yeah, I met this person on Tinder, and I literally I did a lot of things for this person. I like paid for a lot of things. I'm usually the person that pays for things, which I don't mind, but that's like one of my like really strong like love languages that I have is like giving service to people or like paying for things, stuff like that. Um, and yeah, this person, I'm just laughing because it was crazy. But yeah, it was like pretty good. Like we were talking for like I said, 2 3 months.
Mhm.
And then I think it was like during my first semester, my first spring semester at state, I was in an internship, um, and we had a retreat to go to. And one of the rules for the retreat was you could not look through social media while you're on this retreat, or you can't like post anything about this retreat like on
Yeah.
social media, because they kind of just want to keep it like spoiler free for other people, which is great, dope. I understood, but yeah, I broke that rule. Sorry, guys. But yeah, we were like driving and I was hella bored. So I went on Snapchat and I logged in. And one of the first stories that popped up was the person I was seeing at the time. I opened their story and they were in bed with one of their friends, and obviously they were naked. The both of them were
Oh,
naked in
damn.
bed together. Yeah, that shit was fucking bad. Like, um, but I think at the time we had just established that like we were kind of in an open relationship,
Okay.
because both of us weren't really like ready for that type of commitment. I had like just moved from SoCal up here,
Yeah, it's so fresh
and
from like high
very
school.
very fresh like move, and just being like a first year college student and like being able to like finally like openly date people without having to like sneak around at like parks or whatever just to like hold their
Yeah.
hand or whatever, some just like really gay stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, this person, I found out through social media that they were cheating on me.
Mm.
And I mean, maybe it was like kind of like my fault for like assuming like, since we are in an open relationship, the least you could do was communicate that like you were
Totally.
seeing XYZ or whoever, because like, like I think the other thing with like hookup culture is nobody really talks about like your health or like
Yeah.
STDs, STVs. So it's like, being an open relationship, like at least tell me who the hell you're hooking up with.
Yeah.
So, like we're all like consistently like staying healthy or whatever.
I see.
Um, yeah. And that person actually, she stole a bunch of my stuff, or well, she borrowed it, but she never returned it back. And I
You want your stuff back.
literally, huh?
You want your stuff back.
I want my fucking stuff back. Yeah, she stole a really expensive Levi's jacket that my mom had given me in celebration of me graduating from high school. So she
Ooh.
still has that jacket. And the funny thing is, um, one of our pledge sisters was actually in that same internship like with me, and we did like the retreat together and stuff. And like me and her like super close. Me and Roach are super close. But
I'm
yeah,
like, I know who you're talking about.
yeah,
Like,
so basically, me and Roach, I asked Roach to drive me to her house
did
in
you say?
East Bay to try and like knock on her door and like pick up my shit.
Yeah.
But then we realized that like nobody was home. The girl was in Southern California with the guy she cheated on me with,
Mm.
and yeah, she was like wearing my shit in SoCal, and I was just like, what
No
the fuck?
bueno.
Sorry for cursing, but like literally like, my mind is like,
Yeah, no, yeah,
what are you
yeah,
doing? Like, give me back my stuff. I've been trying to contact you for the last like, I think it had been like a week and a half for
yeah.
like my stuff, because I just like want my stuff back, and then I never want to talk to you ever again because like you hurt my little soft fresh heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was like hoping to God, like at least her mom or like her sister was gonna like open the door and just be like, "Who are you?" And I was just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, your daughter cheated on me. Can I have my stuff back though?" Uh, no, literally, like me and Roach were like full send, and then
Yeah.
like
She's real.
Nobody ever answered the door, so we were like,
Respect.
we just went out and ate some good food, and I had a good cry about it.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Like,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, you don't deserve what you went through, but you deserve to like, cry it out. Like,
I was gonna be like, damn, Melissa really thinks I fucking deserve that shit.
no, no, like you deserve to kind of let that out. But I mean, that's obviously your past. So kind of like,
Yeah.
what's it like to be in love like
What
now?
is it like to be in love?
How are
It's
you
great.
now?
I love my partner. We're literally like best friends,
Oh,
honestly. I'm a Libra and
Libra
she
season.
yeah, Libra season, they're in Aries. And if y'all aren't into astrology like that, those two are like a match made in heaven, like twin flames. We're literally like twin flames, soulmates, all of that stuff put together. Like that's my best friend. Like I'll fight for them. They'll square up for me. We're pretty like short people, so um, you gotta be afraid of that, to be honest. All that short energy. Um,
Yeah.
but I love that person.
Like
I love that person so much.
so you talk about like zodiac signs. Who are Gemini who are Gemini supposed to be compatible with? You know?
I know Gemini's friend wise are supposed to be compatible with Libras, but you and me always be like fucking teetering, tottering and shit, and
I think
then
because
me and Tubbs are like,
okay,
no,
what
you
about
and me
you
are
and
like
Anjanette? What about you and
each
Anjanette?
other all the time. Huh?
What about you and Anjanette? She's also Gemini.
Oh yeah, Ange is a Gemini. I feel like me and Ange have like the same level of humor.
Hmm.
Just a little bit darker, but a little bit like hella out of pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah, me and Andrew are hella out of pocket. um, but yeah, I think majority of the Geminis I've met in my life, I'm pretty compatible with. Like
So who are they
either
compatible with
I
romantically?
actually don't know. Do you want to
Like,
Google that right now? We
like,
can.
so I can
We're
find
on your
my
time.
so I can find my soulmate. But yeah, it's been interesting, very interesting talk that we've had. I mean, like KG Cast has said, like I like we always have these conversations
We do
just because
be.
like I feel like they're like really out of the blue too.
Yeah,
Um
no, literally, you'll text me at like 1 in the morning. I'll be like, okay, who is it this time?
shut up.
which
But no,
which Tinder or
my
online person are you seeing now
no, shut up.
during the pandemic?
My recent the recent person, that they lucky broke my heart though. Like, yeah, like I like they broke, but I mean, I'm like I said, like I'm super glad to have had like these conversations just because like I mentioned when I first didn't officially meet you, but I saw you perform that piece. I
Yeah,
was like, you have a different outlook on love, and kind of like you take certain things from love that you want to keep and like obviously trash the rest. But yeah, like I said, not this is not the first time, and hopefully we could get you back on this podcast
yeah,
soon.
I'd love to be back on this podcast. I love talking about love. um yeah, I love
Yeah,
talking about love. It's a great topic to talk about. And
always. Yeah.
my like journey with like love, like I always thought that like what love I only growing up, like I only thought like love was like about like romantic stuff, like
Mhm.
all that mushy gushy like Cinderella, like Prince Charming shit.
Yeah,
But as I've grown older, I've realized that
it's wrong.
it's that vision that I had, yeah, it was wrong, and that it's important to love yourself, at least a good majority of yourself, before you start dating other people. And hella people have like disagreed with me on that specifically, which is great. It is what it is.
Mhm.
Um, but in my mind, it's like if you don't at least love a bit of yourself before you start loving somebody else, then what's the point? How can this person learn to love you if you don't even love yourself? And like, wow, that's like one of my spoken word poems. Wow,
Wow.
circle. Like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, Where can they find you on any of your social?
Where can you people find me? Y'all can find me on Instagram, on Twitter. Well, right now my handles are like ygp.kg or some variation of that. Um, but I am actually currently rebranding myself.
Okay,
So for those of you who know me in real life, that is not my last name. And for those of you who know me from back in my like keiki kind days in Hawaii and Hawaii, um, I normally don't go by KG. That is like not my real name. This is not my real name at all. But yeah, I'm like rebranding myself. So stay tuned on
yeah,
that. Hopefully I get to come back on this podcast to say
yeah,
like my official rebranding. But thanks for having me on, Alyssa. I've been hyped up about this episode of your podcast for a while now. Like
yeah. For those who don't know, actually, this podcast was supposed to be later in the month, but I was like itching.
you was itching you.
I was itching. I was just like, yo, we need to get this podcast started ASAP, Rocky. But I'm
Yeah,
glad
full
we did it.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally like I think we were like at a meeting or something for something, and then like after it you like hit me up about like recording recording with me or having me guest star, and I was just like, oh my god, wow, I'm fucking ready. Like let us drag all these people out.
I hate you. Um,
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
yeah, well, that's all for today. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in and catch us next time and see who our next special guest is. But yeah, thanks, KG, for hopping on this podcast. Woo!
Thanks, Alyssa, appreciate your time. Thanks.